everybody. This is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home once again. Just pretty much, this video is their plea for money because we're really broke and my mother needs more of her meal replacement shakes right now. It's not got enough to last throughout the rest of the month. She Anyway, but obviously, as y'all may have noticed on my Facebook, I have completed a bunch more pages for book 11. Here, screen cap that. Ugh, kaput dick. Please, everyone, help us. It's just the past 6 months. I can't talk about it, but the money we've been getting the past 6 months, we lost a whole bunch of money. And if we don't pay this mortgage, they're gonna foreclose on our house. So please help us. I'm gonna add more listings later, but for now, please go on to my buy everything that I have on there right now. Please help us, help us.
Now, I know a lot of you are wondering, why did I play that video? Well, for reasons which I will explain later on. But for now, today's stream, of course, is about, well, a quickie article that I'll be reading. And the quickie article will be about Chris and money. Now, this is one of my... Now, the reason why I'm doing this stream is because there are similarities that I have made between Shanny for Christ and, of course, Chris Chan, which, of course, people have given me shit over because I know it's repetitive. But if you look at this with an open mind, you'll understand why I keep making comparisons between the two. And money is one of those reasons why I've made comparisons. It's obvious. Both Shanny and Chris aren't that good with handling money, especially when they have a lot of frivolous items to buy. Now, that video you saw earlier before was back in 2018 when Chris was still undergoing the quote-unquote financial crisis, which I've read an article about, or which I've done a stream about last week before Atheist Veteran did his stream. Now, continuing on with the financial issues regarding Chris is Chris and money. Of course, again, I know about the whole ordeal regarding Shanny's financial problems, especially now that she and Rev have claimed that they are flat out broke. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who saw Secular Opinion stream already have caught wind of all the fallacies and, of course, the mental gymnastics that she has been jumping through, even though she can't lift herself up off the bed without getting lightheaded. that video, the Please Help Us foreclosure video by Chris Chan, is basically a drawback to what is going on right here with Shanny, even though they don't know each other and they've never met. But I digress. So without further ado, let's take a look at Chris and money. I call a tow truck, but now I have less than $20 between the bank accounts and PayPal. Chris, after his car broke down on the way home from BronyCon. He's not good at math when it comes to managing money. Bob, understanding it. Chris has repeatedly shown, though, his actions and words that he has no idea how to handle money or manage his own finances. Kind of like someone we know right now. Between his impulse spending, his greed and selfishness, his unwillingness to save even the smallest amount of money, and his massive sense of entitlement, Chris manages to demonstrate complete incompetence and ineptitude in managing financial affairs. So basically, it's also similar. It's similar to what Shanny and Rev are going through right now. And that's why I could make the comparisons. Chris has repeatedly amassed debt on credit cards, only to have his enabling parents bail him out multiple times. Shanny has Rev bailing her out on multiple times. Too lazy to work, he refuses to follow any type of budget or financial plan, instead spending far beyond his means and expecting others to pay off his accumulated debt for him. Kind of like how Shanny is expecting people to send donations her way as we speak. It is clear that Chris has no idea what financial responsibility is, and that his enabling delusional parents taught him nothing about how to handle finances while he was growing up. I kind of see that with Rev and his mother. Irresponsible, careless, and thoughtless, Chris fails at just about every aspect of financial management that can be thought of. That is true. But wait, Chris isn't employed. Neither is Shanny. For the vast majority of Chris's adult life, his only source of income has been the tugboat that he receives from the U.S. federal government every month. In 2009, the payout was $809 a month, placing his annual income at $9,708. After Bob's death, Chris was given a survivor's benefit, increasing the amount to $1,300 per month and making his annual income $15,600. Barb's income from Social Security and a pension is around $1,200 per month. I've heard they found their keys. I've heard. I was in drag stream. So where did Shanny and Rev find the keys at? And A, were they stolen? B, they misplaced them. I believe Shanny and Rev misplaced their keys and blamed it on a robbery, which is the plausible explanation to their meltdown. But I digress. Chris's parents originally took $450 to pay for room and board. This payment was later increased to $565 and then $580. After Bob paid off Chris's enormous credit card debt, the rest of the tugboat generally goes towards video games, junk food, and other frivolous purchases. Kind of like how Rev's inheritance money goes for paying for Shanny's food video games, and other frivolous items. Just need to take a swig of water. However, $229 per month was nowhere near enough to satisfy Chris's need for electronic entertainment, pornography, PlayStation Network downloads, a constant supply of chicken nuggets, gallons of Coke, and since the summer of 2009, alcohol. Kind of sounds like Shanny too. But her spiel is makeup, clothing hauls, sex toys, video games, and other frivolous items that she's wanted. I don't believe it really happened anyway. They could have misplaced them. That's obvious. We all know Shanny likes to lie just to get people to feel sorry for her. She's really, and that's the thing with Shanny, is that she automatically expects people to believe her. She doesn't know how the world works. But continue on with Chris. As of January 2010, he owed roughly $3,500 in credit card debt, some on cards of his own and some on cards he stole from his parents. Indeed, according to one of his bank statements, at the end of 1 month, he had fewer than $3 left in his account. Kind of like how Shanny claims to have fewer than $5 left in her bank account. But I digress. Even more, just by straight pending and no other extra income, he puts himself at $452.57 in the red. How much he gets to keep these days isn't known. My father helped me to get my Social Security set up. I get more a month than I could at a job. Yet, with my impulsive shoppiness, I end up spending my side money after I get it. Chris, completely deluded and taking pride in being a lazy bastard. It's obvious that Chris has no grasp on the real value of money, since he actively wastes as much of his monthly tugboat as possible on things like trading cards, sex toys, porn, video games, alcohol, makeup, toys, prostitutes, and weekly lottery tickets. Chris is a self-admitted impulsive spender. His PlayStation Network account shows that he has never played more than half of the games he's bought, and yet, astoundingly, he's still gone out of his way to buy all available downloadable content for every single PlayStation 3 game that he has never purchased, and even for games he doesn't own. And also, he goes further, promoting his Sony fanboyism by later. He also further promoted his Sony fanboyism by later buying a Sony LCD HD TV for his bedroom, which likely cost about $1,000 to $1,500. All the while, Chris bought his clothes at a secondhand discount thrift store, at secondhand discount thrift stores. Unusually, children are taught the value of money at a very young age. Not in Chris's case, apparently. And not in Rev's case, God willing. And not in Rev's case as well. I highly doubt that Jason's parents taught him the value of money. But that's just me. In December 2013, Chris complained about he and his mom going through emotionally depressing and financial downfall to the depths of greatly poor and just getting by. Kind of sound like Shanny right now. Making it clear that the family income had dipped since Bob's passing. However, these supposedly lean times were apparently not enough to motivate Chris to get a job, or even to stop buying games, as evidenced by him racking up over $1,000 in game purchases on The Simpsons Tapped Out, which, of course, is some obscure Simpsons game that I really don't want to look into because I think it's garbage. Throughout the summer of 2014, Chris continued to spend thousands of dollars on Lego and other frivolities, all while whining and complaining on Facebook about his and his mother's poor finances. Kind of like how Shanny and Rev are whining about their poor finances today. Chris financed this spending primarily with money from selling custom arts and crafts on his eBay account, offering free shipping to customers. Chris would receive money from customers and then pay for shipping out of his own pocket. And that's the thing with eBay, is that you got to expect people, payments for shipping is why I don't sell shit. However, Chris would immediately spend money as soon as it was deposited into his account, often leaving him unable to ship products to customers who had already paid him because of his own financial irresponsibilities and negligence. I could see Rev and Shanny doing that, especially Rev doing that. When several of Chris's eBay customers filed complaints against him because Chris failed to ship an order as promised and obligated, Chris responded by harassing and trolling the customers, posting their personal information in a public post on his Facebook account. In light of this, Chris's future money-making prospects from eBay are dim, as most prospective future customers probably wouldn't want to risk being harassed or scammed by Chris. Kind of like how a lot of customers won't want to risk being harassed or doxxed by Shanny and Rev. I mean, Shanny and Rev have doxxed people who try to donate money to them. All the while, even as Chris's credit card debt continued to spiral out of control, Chris continued to buy thousands of dollars of video games, Lego, and other frivolous items. As if it were not bad enough, just days after putting his and Barb's cars up for sale, Chris went out and bought a 2010 Ford Focus, stating on Facebook that he had been approved for a loan, probably at a high interest rate. He also stated that paying for insurance on his new car was killing him, implying that either the insurance payment was costly, that he was having trouble paying it, or both. In January 2015, it was leaked that Chris had spent an absurd amount of money on Nintendo consoles and games, racking up 585 transactions in the past 4.5 years. A list which includes useless shovelware hordes of first-party Nintendo software, virtual console games, and both versions of a game that he doesn't even like. 276 of these purchases are known to be handheld games, 8 are known to be video game consoles, and 75 which are known to be console games. The grand total cost of all Chris's listed purchases is $7,460.43, or $1,657.87 per year. Keep in mind, 39% of purchases Chris has on his account are not yet specified, meaning that their costs is not included in the already insanely high number. This information comes on the heels of Chris begging people for money to fix his mother's cavities, as well as the financial worries that his trials will undoubtedly cause. In July 2016, a field agent provided the following account of Chris in a painfully awkward situation where he did not have enough cash to pay for his junk food at a gas station. My friend walks into a gas station convenience store on the northern edge of Charlottesville. Chris is trying to buy $7 or so of junk food type stuff, but he only has $5 in cash. The cashier tries to make understand he owes $2 more. Chris seems to understand, but is slow to process what to do about it. My friend, who is second in line, picks up 2 ones, says, "Here you go," and puts them on the counter. Chris, it seems more of stupidity and confusion than malice, picks up the $2 and his purchase and makes to leave. My friend and the cashier both object and yell that he has to leave the $2 with the cashier. Chris doesn't seem to react. A dude who was behind both of them in line is between Chris and the door. As Chris passes him, he taps him to get his attention and says something like, "Hey, buddy." Chris makes a getaway from me and hand wavy gesture without looking at any of the 3 of them, and fairly loudly says, "It's mess," and hurries out the door. Chris continues to his car in a half run, half walk, as all 3 of the people in the store watch confused and amused. Chris pulls out of the parking spot, but for some reason heads towards the back of the lot where there's no exit. As Chris gets to the back of the lot, he stops, backs up a feet, tries to turn the car around, doesn't make it, backs up again, and finally gets round, essentially making a 5-point turn in a fairly large empty parking lot. Chris drives past the store again, not looking inside, and finally drives off. That sounds like something Rev would do. One dreads to imagine how his financial incompetence will affect him once Barb is dead. Knowing Chris, and while it is quite tragic, he'll probably continue in his destructive spending patterns until he loses everything he has, and then he'll learn nothing. Kind of like Shanny and Rev's issue. I mean, what's going to happen once Shanny passes away? That's the question. I mean, will Rev continue to stay with the boys, or will he go away and disappear into obscurity? What's going to happen to William and Zachary? Chris's parental enabling. Bob encouraged his son to remain unemployed since he believed that Chris would earn more money from his monthly tugboat than he would have from getting a job. However, this assumption was and is inaccurate. Minimum wage in the state of Virginia is $7.25 an hour. If Chris were to somehow do a complete 180 on his life and begin working a full 40-hour week, his monthly payment before taxes and payment for room and board would be about $1,260. That's $15,100 annually. Subtracting the money he pays his mom every month to live, as well as the 5% tax his income range mandates in the state of Virginia, Chris would very likely be left with a ridiculous $8,000, which, knowing Chris, he would spend on yet more frivolities. God, I can't pronounce that word. Contrast this with the $2,748 Chris pulled in annually from the government after paying off his parents. And it becomes clear that Bob's encouragement came from either thinking Chris would lose his Social Security if employed, which he wouldn't, or the more accurate notion that his son is a useless failure. Sounds about right. No. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, Lynn. Yes, Chris does use drugs. But most of those drugs that he takes are usually like antidepressants that he gets from his doctors and hormone replacement drugs that he buys off Amazon. I'm not joking. Yes, Chris buys hormone replacement drugs off the internet. A very likely explanation for Chris's reckless spending is that his parents are at fault. In addition to coddling him throughout his entire life, they managed to make sure that Chris has never felt the repercussions for his exorbitant spending by taking over paying Chris's credit card debt, regularly giving him about $6 a day for small things, buying him fast food on a daily basis, and continuing to let himself blow all his money on frivolities and useless stuff, as opposed to essentials like hygiene products, courses that could eventually help him onto the employment ladder, or clothing that isn't unbelievably tacky. Whenever Chris manages to get himself into trouble, he knows that Barb will come running to his aid and defend him and dig him out of whatever mess he's managed to get himself into, even if it is clear that he is in the wrong. This enabling is the most likely explanation for why Chris spends himself into debt as much as he does. That sounds like Rev, if you think about it. Yes, Lynn. Chris does use drugs. Occasionally he does buy like weed. When he used to like smoke weed with a group of transgender teenagers, even though he is a middle-aged man hanging out with a bunch of teenagers smoking weed, which is a red flag if you think about it. Even though they bought a lot of art off of him. Chris believes that by receiving and spending his tugboat on useless junk, he is aiding the economy and paying for other people's tugboats. This is a damningly moronic conviction, since sales tax goes to the state government, and these tugboats are paid with federal payroll tax. Where Chris is hiding the printing press to afford this discretionary spending is unknown. Interestingly enough, while he has no clue how to handle money, Chris has an unhealthy fixation on his material possessions. In the Vivitheg's AIM chat, he stated that he did not want to sell any of his stuff. And in the Miyamoto saga, he refused to sell anything to help raise money for the trip to Redmond. While Chris mocked Lars's habit of buying and collecting model boats and add-ons for them after learning about it from Jackie, he failed to realize that Lars's supposedly habit was directly parroting his obsessive purchasing and hoarding of video games and DLC, even for games that he didn't own. His mother has served as a bad influence regarding Chris's belief in material goods, as she would frequently stop at Goodwill and compulsively hoard the purchases, which both wasted money and helped turn their house into a fire hazard. On May 16th, 2019, Chris tweeted a screenshot of an NBC story about how ex-EPA Chief Scott Pruitt spent nearly $124,000 on excessive airfare. Chris then showed off his complex views on the economy by saying, "Hey, everyone, here's a think piece. Firstly, if people didn't overspend so much, there would be more money to give to charities around the world. And then that brought to mind that if things had not gone up in price, there would be money to freely give to those unfortunate. Why? Back in the day, we used to pay a nickel for a Hershey bar, a nickel. Now it's $1.50. We could be using that $1.45 to feed the hungry everywhere, but everyone got greedy for the green and don't appreciate it as much. A nickel. Yep, Grandpa. People have done goofed with inflation and crap. He's one to talk. He's not one to talk since he basically wastes everyone's money on toys. After the house fire, on January 10th, 2014, 14 Branchline Court caught fire. This would undoubtedly place the Chandlers in grim circumstances due to the cost of rebuilding the home and replacing what was lost. Some of his fans pooled their funds to send him a care package with a money order for $500. Many concerned about Chris due to his wasteful spending habits hoped that this would be the moment in Chris's life where he finally woke up and realized the importance of saving when things like this happen. Unfortunately, not even that has broken Chris's thick skull. Throughout 2014, he wasted $5,000 on Lego sets. I'm not joking. And I know Shanny doesn't always just waste all of Rev's inheritance money on toys. Most of Rev's money goes to DoorDash. But the point is, neither Shanny or Chris are capable of handling money. Even if it's someone else's money, they don't know how to budget, or they don't care to budget. If you give Shanny money, she'll automatically and immediately spend it on Lush products and DoorDash, because that's basically where your money goes to, Lynn. And even if they do get like a check, like the relief check or stimulus, even if they did apply for like a stimulus check, we all know damn well that money is going to go to DoorDash. Yep. Lynn, $5,000 on Legos. Kind of like how Shanny spends like $3,000 on DoorDash per year. And it's not even fast food from McDonald's. It's like fancy, fatty, enriched foods from local restaurants in the Colorado area. Barb's toxic influence. According to a troll insider info, Chris was able to manage his own finances to a rudimentary degree even after Bob passed away, although he still has an issue with not saving money for potential emergencies. The troll also asserted that Chris's financial hardships are caused in most part by Barb helping herself to Chris's monetary accounts in order to attempt paying her out of control debts. Barb is the one who has serious debt. She fucks up Chris's budgeting by erratically taking money from Chris's account when she needs it, generally without warning. Kind of like how Shanny takes money out of Jason's account without warning. Exactly. That's why I say there are two things of Chris begging videos. One is when Chris wants a bit extra for some Legos. You can identify those by how vague Chris's requests are and how relaxed Chris is in the video. Chris isn't in meltdown mode in those videos. Kind of like how Reb and Shanny always like to advertise their Twitch streams, or like they try to advertise themselves and their Etsy store and their merch store. That's one of the begging videos. That's the first begging video. And those are the ones where where neither Shanny or Rev are in meltdown mode. Now, the other type of video is when Barb tried to snatch some money from Chris and Chris doesn't have anything for her. You can identify those by how freaked out Chris looks. He's visibly distressed and he's citing specific bills he's got to pay, usually things that seem un-Chris-like. That's when Barb is freaking out at him for not having enough money to pay her debts. Kind of like the Shanny videos where Shanny and Reb are both freaking out over the massive debts that they have collected over the years of living together. The thing is, the perception is that Chris is bad with money. He's not bad with money, despite how foggy Chris's head is. He's got enough memory to recognize patterns in bills over the course of a few months. He knows he's got to pay electricity bills and rent and things like that. And he does do the math each month about what bills he's got to pay and how much that leaves him for Legos and food. You can't trust his beggings. He begs because he wants more money, not because he's in financial straits. That's kind of like what Shanny and Reb are doing. They claim that they're in financial straits, but in actuality, Shanny just wants more money for DoorDash. He lives cheaply as shit. He saves money by buying dollar store shit. He's the type of person to buy single-ply toilet paper at the dollar store, but sometimes he'll splurge and treat himself to things like alcohol. He does this all while meeting his obligations, like his minimum payment and his bills. I don't believe that part. But I mean, like I said, Chris could have invested in some money to like help him make merch, but Chris is too lazy to even put in the efforts to get his name out there. I mean, he's famous enough. He's famous enough to be profitable. Why not jump on the bandwagon and be on opening up a Teespring or a merch store? But of course, Barb would just use that money to pay off her exorbitant debt, because Barb is basically the one who's always manipulative. But then again, Bob, when Bob Chandler was still alive, he was a really shitty person. He was an adulterer. So they both Barb and Bob were married prior to meeting each other. Exactly. Exactly, Lynn. Information on cousin Al revealed that Chris and Barb had an inheritance from Bob worth tens of thousands of dollars. However, Barb spent all of it on hiring Rob Bell to defend herself from legal charges incurred after the two of them hit Michael Snyder with a car. Lynn, if you don't know who Michael Snyder is, Lynn, he's the owner of the now debunked, now shut down game place. It was a game and hobby store that Chris used to frequent before having been banned due to his childish outbursts. Yes, Chris Chan has been banned from most hangout spots such as the Charlottesville Mall, Piedmont Virginia Community College, GameStop, Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, Best Buy, and every venue within the Charlottesville area Chris has been banned from. It should be noted that a state-provided attorney would have been free and yielded the same result, for the case was so cut and dry that even a lawyer of Bell's caliber had no chance of winning it. Oh my God. In November 2014, Chris revealed to Renee that Barb was borrowing money from his life insurance. So I guess that kind of like how Shanny keeps borrowing money from Rev. Bank lawsuits against Barb. In 2016, two banks, Discovery and Capital One, sued Barb for not paying over $20,000 total in debts, leaving the Chandlers even further in financial turmoil. Barb herself appeared in multiple videos in 2016 to 2017 trying to scam people into donating to her. And we'll be looking at those types of videos right now. So I'm going to exit. I'll be looking at those examples of videos as we speak because they are crucial. In the first two videos, Barb claimed to not have enough money for asthma medication. In the third, she claimed to need money for dental work. If Barb actually needed money for an emergency, she could simply have instructed Chris to sell some of their possessions. In the videos, Chris's toys and Barb's hoard are clearly visible behind them. Emergency home update. Oh, sorry. Money-making schemes. Yeah, Chris is kind of a scumbag. It's been said that Chris has inherited all of his parents' bad traits. I mean, when Chris's father, Bob Chandler, was still alive, he was a really shitty person back in the day before Chris was even born. Chris's half brother, Cole Smithy, who is a movie critic, who was known for giving Toy Story 3 a bad review. stated that Bob was somewhat verbally abusive. But Barb herself, she is even worse than Bob. In fact, she was emotionally abusive to Chris when Chris said that he was going to be going to like some brony convention. Barb did what Shanny usually does to Rev by emotionally manipulating him, threatening to commit suicide if Chris didn't do what she told him. And, well, she was an awful person, an awful mother. And I guess Chris parading her on the internet is like a poetic justice, if you think about it. Wheeling and dealing, also known as return fraud, Chris has a habit of buying a product from one store for a lower cost, then exchanging it for a higher amount of store credit at another store. Lottery. Chris considers the lottery to be an investment and not a form of gambling in reality. In September of 2010, he told Jackie the following: I invest $4 weekly between Win for Life and Mega Millions, 2 plays each. I don't know if Chris Chan has ever heard of Cash App, but it's obvious that he doesn't care about that right now. He doesn't care about Cash App or making money since he's busy talking about his dimensional merge. And besides, most of his enablers give him money anyways. Cash for Life and Mega Millions currently cost $2 per play as of April 14th, 2019, meaning that if Chris stopped playing the lottery, he would save around $460 per year. Craigslist. In late October 2011, Chris posted a Craigslist ad for a 12-year-old 32-inch CRT television and expected a non-negotiable $250 for it. In reality, this is about the price of a flat screen HD TV of that size, and he would be lucky to get a tenth of his asking price. Chris placed 2 cars for sale on Craigslist in September of 2014. One was a dilapidated, rusty 1997 Cadillac with a cracked engine block that hadn't run in over a year. Despite having a market value of approximately $150, Chris demanded $5,000 for the automobile, insisting that the cracked engine block made the car a great fixer-upper. That's a lie. Chris also placed his mother's BMW Z3 for sale. The 1999 BMW is currently listed on the Roanoke Craigslist for $10,000 OBO. Kelly Blue Book estimates the car with 70,000 miles and in a fair condition is worth $4,318. Chris describes the car as mint condition Z3 model. Like a go-kart with rocket power. Chris, seriously, fun to drive 5-speed and pure joy with the top down. Colors jet black. Pawn shops. Chris occasionally visits pawn shops for similar businesses, among them Snooki's Pawn Shop, GameStop, and Plan 9 Music, to sell his old toys so that he could afford new ones. eBay. eBay is the main one. eBay, Chris has long used eBay to sell bits of his toy hoard. He doesn't put much effort into researching prices and often lists items at vastly inflated prices. In August 2016, he listed a used VHS of Aladdin with a buy it now price of $3,000. There were no legitimate takers, probably because one can buy the same edition on Amazon for 1 penny. In June 2019, Chris's account was restricted and all of the active listings were removed. Two reasons for the restriction against Chris are possible. Either his seller's approval rating was abysmal or that his PayPal account was in the red. I'd say both. Quickfill shopping. In 2014 to 2016, Chris sold custom arts and crafts, finally monetizing Sonichu through eBay, Etsy, and Lulu before losing his business due to stress. Kickstarter. On September 23rd, 2014, Chris opened a Kickstarter project asking for $5,000 worth of Legos. At the end of the campaign, Chris raised $150 from 27 backers. YouTube monetization. Chris has monetized most of the videos which appear on his YouTube channel as another way of profiting from his internet infamy. As further proof of Chris's entitlement issues, Arthur Spatchcock discovered that at one point around March 2016, Chris received $80 and was pissed that he hadn't gotten more. This is going to become a pattern. Chris is going to do one of his Let's Play followed by an eBay video and then polish it off by purchasing some dumb thing he doesn't need in excess of $50. He knows how this system works, and it's the greatest amount of payoff with the least amount of work. The first time when Chris played Destiny, he made $80 from YouTube. Then he makes a video whining about how he needs more money, and lo and behold, he gets even more. If anything, people are contributing to his float, and that convinces them that he can get away with being frivolous, that much more. Social Blade estimates that as of December 12th, 2019, Chris earned more between $245 and $3,900 per year. But there are many factors, such as content ID claims, that make it very difficult to estimate the true value of any YouTube channel. Let's Play. In March 2016, Arthur Spatchcock introduced Chris to the idea of doing Let's Plays to boost his online activity and help him gain some money through YouTube's monetization program. The plan fell apart after Let's Play of Destiny and Uncharted, since by that point, Chris was too lazy to play video games for money, and he simply wanted to beg for his audience instead. PayPal.me announced on May 11th, 2017. Quickfill shopping. I am the creator of Sonichu and Rosachu. With more than 11 comic books worth of content under my helm, please donate to help me quell my financial problems that quell my creativity. Ruckersville, Virginia. Prostitution. On June 19th, 2016, aka Father's Day, Chris decided to become a prostitute. He has yet to receive any takers. I can picture Rev doing that. I mean, I would imagine Rev becoming a prostitute. I mean, it's possible. I don't think Chris knows about Cash App. I highly doubt that Christian is aware that there's a thing called Cash App. Begging. Main article, financial crisis. One of the earliest instances of Chris e-begging for money was in December of 2009. Chris exhorted his alleged European fan base to donate $1,000, 1,000 euros in order to remove troll ads from the Wikipedia. In 2014, after his house caught fire, Chris again resorted to e-begging for money, placing extra emphasis on, "My mother and I really need money," despite dropping more than $5,000 on expensive Lego sets to feed his worsening addiction. One would think that Chris would have wised up to the fact that his wanton spending and lack of gainful employment are contributing to his woes, but one glance at his May 2014 Facebook post could easily tell you that he's seeing this situation as an avenue to get stuff from people. The most ridiculous of which being a $300 sea cow on his wish list, which would not benefit anybody but himself in the slightest. Yeah, I've seen that happen with Shanny and Rev. I mean, Shanny and Rev have been begging people to buy them items on Amazon, on the Amazon wish lists, just to like, well, benefit themselves because, yeah. Yes, he was, Lynn. Exact. I do remember Rev, but that was because, but Shanny, right now, Shanny doesn't want to do OnlyFans because she's afraid that people like Dragnot and his brothers are going to sexually harass her or rape her emotionally. At this point, Shanny is now convinced that the world is out to get her. You could see, you saw in her video, in her stream, that she's paranoid, that she doesn't want to do OnlyFans because she's afraid that people are going to take those videos and plaster them on Twitter just to make her look bad. And yes, Chris was the one who started the house fire. Chris did start the house fire by brewing a Keurig, but by trying to plug a Keurig in the bathroom upstairs. Yes, Chris tried to brew coffee in his upstairs bathroom, which had a faulty, which you're not supposed to do. And not to mention the horde added fuel for the fire. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Shanny's and Rev's townhouse does look like it's almost similar to Vaughn's trailer. Not to mention Chris's house before the fire. In 2016, Chris's e-begging drastically increased as a result of the Chandler's stubborn refusal to live within their means. Kind of like how Shanny and Rev's e-begging increased as of today, because, of course, Shanny refuses to live within her means. I mean, Rev was trying to, like, quell the, try to, like, ease the frivolous spending, but we all know Shanny refuses to live within her means because we all know goddamn well Shanny is an entitled bitch. Right, Lynn? It's Shanny's massive ego and her sense of entitlement that's causing the couple to go through financial problems. That year saw Chris spend over $1,000 in toys, while both Chris and Barb had court cases resolved, which penalized them with steep costs. In addition, Barb joined in on the begging, appearing in 3 videos. Oh, that's the one. So far, he asked for donations, or at least mentioned them in many of the posts, and videos he made in 2014 through 2016. At first, this was supposedly to fund his production of Sonichu merchandise, but he later shifted to saying that he and Barb needed help with paying the bills and buying groceries. Kind of like how what Shanny and Rev are doing right now, if you think about it. While it's entirely possible that Chris was simply lying to get more money for useless crap, kind of like what Shanny and Rev are doing right now, this indicates that the financial hardships, which many people have warned him about, have finally arrived. Only time will tell how his financial situation ultimately plays out. But given his attitude and inaction, the future definitely doesn't seem bright. In the comic, it is clear Chris has no idea how money works. Sonichu, Rosechu, Patty-chan, and most likely all the other characters live off welfare, just like Chris in real life. He seems to have no concept of tax or that it's the American populace who pays for his bullshit. Rosechu and Sonichu are living in a 2-story house with an attic offered by the city, and they are paid an average of US $3,500 a month just to hang around, and maybe for the occasional city defense or errand. While legislating as mayor of Quickville, he equated 10 years in prison to a $1,500 US fine. Kind of like what Shanny and Rev are trying to do right now by equating 10 years of a US fine for, well, talking about them. He also equated 50 hours of community service to $500 for sexual violations. In episode 19, it's shown that Quickville actually issues its own currency in the form of C quarters and W quarters. 10 C quarters make up a W quarter. Don't bother asking how that makes sense in any way, considering what the word quarter means. Nor does it explain why fines are levied in US dollars, perhaps to bolster the dictatorship's foreign currencies reserves, alas, North Korea. It's been speculated, Lynn, it's been speculated that the trolls are going to take Chris in after Barb dies. It's been a lot of people in the CWC community are saying that once Barb dies, one of the trolls is going to adopt him. And for like the assholes, like A-loggers and assholes and weens, people are always the financial crisis is believed to would lead. Sorry. It is said that the financial crisis would lead to Chris being homeless, which is like a wet dream for A-loggers and weens alike. Same thing with what's going on with Shanny and Rev's situation. A lot of trolls are wishing for Rev to leave Shanny and be homeless, or go back to living in Scranton, Pennsylvania, with G-Man in their house. This makes even less sense considering Quickville is part of the United States. States, let alone cities, cannot print their own money. Despite holding considerable power over their own affairs, the Constitution expressly forbids anyone other than the federal government from issuing currency. However, it has been somewhat common for companies, communities, and local governments to issue localized currency known as script, a Depression-era practice still seen from time to time. Chris being Chris, and likely reading Goosebumps instead of paying attention in class, likely is wholly unaware of this information. On the Wikipedia article on Sonichu, Chris wrote that Rosachu is usually the one who cooks for her family, but when Sonichu cooks for his wife and the kids, he will go as high in portions as a banquet, even though he only cooks for 5 individuals. This suggests that Sonichu is just as frivolous with money as his father. Soup hotels. I think I covered this in Chris and Politics. Chris shows us his complete misunderstanding of the stress his ideas would put on the American Social Security system if he was left in charge of it in a text called A Sonichu Rosachu Christmas Story. This is where the idea of soup hotels came from. Even the homeless have a place to stay in the 10 soup kitchens / hotels. Chris depicts soup hotels as buildings 10 stories tall with between 10 to 50 rooms per floor, equipped with single bathrooms, beds, lighting, and cable television. Of course, the homeless stay there for free. So instead of building homeless shelters with dormitories, common rooms, and shared TV sets, Chris thinks the homeless should be treated to all comforts of a bona fide hotel. This means that in Quickville, there are around 1,500 homeless people left outside. This might be the result of the local industry choked by heavy taxes needing to pay those social expenses, being unable to make profit there, and thus moving away. In Sonichu issue 10, Ultra Sonichu and a bevy of Rosachu stop at a soup hotel. The building is labeled Soup Hotel 17, implying that Quickville has had to open at least 7 new homeless shelters in the span of a month. Or they're just bad at numbering the things. More telling, that the economy of Quickville is crashing to the ground fast. In other words, in Mumble 16, Chris discussed making a TV show called The Chris Chandler Show. One of his demands was that the show should not have any commercial breaks, either showing a distinct lack of understanding as how a TV station makes money, or perhaps he plans to sell the advertising fees to a single company so that they can plan a long ad in the beginning of the airtime and leave the rest of the show uninterrupted, a la the season premieres of 24. We cannot know for sure, but he has probably seen at least one show that has done this and gathered the idea from there. Guess what that was? I'm believing it's Family Guy or South Park. Either way. In Mailbag 29, he stated that $10 an hour is a reasonable price to pay for sex with a prostitute. To show this further ignorance of simple economics, Chris proposed a chain of state-run brothels where his shockingly inexpensive fee would not only pay women for sex, pay the salary of a pimp, pay for STD testings for the prostitutes, but would also pay for free sex ed classes for virgins. In real life, according to Chris, he tried to scam his way out of paying for sex with a Craigslist prostitute who was charging $10 per hour by telling her about the trolls, his life story, and his many personal problems. He said the prostitute then hung up on him. What a shock. Chris also proves us that in the possibility of being part of a family, he wouldn't be the main purveyor. In the Playing House video, his sweetheart of the moment is portrayed as a successful journalist with high ambitions while he's a stay-at-home dad. Even then, he portrays himself doing hard work like changing diapers and watching over the kids. In his last role, he's so incompetent that he needs to recruit his preschool daughter to watch over his son while he's shopping. This is paralleled by his real life situation. With Bob gone, one would assume that he'd be the man of the house and assume some responsibilities for once. Unfortunately, as evidenced by his admission in court, Barb is still pulling his ass out of any such concept by paying his court fees. Keep in mind, by extension, Chris is being minded by an ailing woman's retirement money, which was used to bail him out of a mess that he started, while he wastes his own money on meaningless frivolities. Sorry, I can't pronounce that word. Conclusion. Given Chris's carefree abandon when it comes to his spending habits, many are actually concerned as to what will happen to Chris when Barb passes on and he has to fend for himself. In past and present experiences are any indication, it's that if Chris continues on his path of not saving his money and spending it on frivolous crap that he doesn't need, he will wind up broke and in severe debt. A past conversation with Clyde Cash revealed that he doesn't even know the basic expenses that go into running a household. And we all know how Chris's plans of marrying a sweetheart to dump all of the financial responsibilities on her will turn out. Long story short, if Chris doesn't start saving for his future now, then when Barb passes on, he won't have one to look forward to, and he'll have nobody to blame but himself. Kind of like Shanny. I mean, once Rev leaves her, once the kids move out of their house and Rev eventually leaves her, Shanny won't have a future to look forward to, and she'll have nobody to blame but herself. Anyway, we're not done here. Oh, thank you, Yato God. It's good to show some support. Anyway, we're not done here. There's a lot of stuff I need to show because it gets really juicy, especially with someone like this. Hold on. Let's share the audio, and boom. Hold on, this is one of the many begging videos that Chris has put out ever since between the events of 2016, 2017. These are one of the original e-begging videos that Chris has put out because, well, the reason why I chose this article was because after watching the recent stream on Secular Opinions channel regarding Shanny's financial troubles, and between Shanny and Rev's financial troubles, it made me reflect on another locale that has similar problems in the past, who refuses to take responsibility for his own actions, even when he or she has massive debt to pay. I'm referring to this man-child named Christine Weston Chandler, whom I keep comparing Shanny to.
Oh, hello, this is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home. Anyway, my mom here is in need of medications for her lungs and whatnot.
That's her mom. That's Chris's mom right there, Barb. She's sleeping.
Yeah.
And this was in 2016, by the way.
Some let them know you are alive. Well, anyway, it's $100 medication, and she might not be able to make it through the rest of this month, of which we get more money afterwards if you don't donate. So please send your donations that could get to me most direct to my email address through PayPal. Please do it very soon. Help us out here, please.
I don't know if Chris.
Thank you.
I don't think Chris knows about Cash App right now because we all know Chris. Thank you. Oh, okay. Good. Good for drag. I mean, good for drag. Anyway, here's the other video that I would show you guys. It's still the same one. It's still like a similar one, but
hello, this is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home, and I definitely have a more urgent and special request. My mother really needs her medication for her asthma.
we all know damn well that's just an excuse. I mean, I could see Shanny making the same arguments. Like, we need money for like medication shit. She'll say something like that. I mean, Rev. Actually, no. Rev will say something like that.
That's right here. That's her right there, Barbara. Anyway,
you can see in the back. You can see in the background, guys, that the horde right here on this side of the camera of the video is the horde that has that I mean Chris. This is the horde that Chris and Barb have collected, even after the house fire. And over here are Chris's toys that he wastes all the money on, which furthers his financial problems.
it's like $100. So we really need the money because we don't have $100.
Oh, Lynn, you don't know half of it. You don't know half of what Chris did when he tried to e-bag for money just so that he could feed his spending habits. You have no idea the things that Chris did to further his frivolous spending habits. And it's not just Chris who's irresponsible with money. It's Barb, his ailing mother, who has been a really, really shitty person. Even when her husband was still alive, she was basically manipulating Chris into continuing to act like an infant, even in his adult years. Even in his adulthood, Barb still treats Chris like a newborn baby. And not to mention, there have been rumors suggesting that Chris has like an Oedipus complex towards his elderly mother. That's a rumor. And actually, no, that's been confirmed by Magichan, which is one of Chris's online personalities. That Chris has like an Oedipus complex, if you think about it. Yep. Pretty much, Lynn. Pretty much.
So yeah, just like I said earlier, you can send all donations directly to my email address via.
And you thought Rev's hair was bad? You should see Chris. And you thought Shanny's hair was bad? You should definitely check out Chris's hair right here. I mean, good God, that comb over wasn't doing him any favors. And I thought Shanny and Rev's hair was bad, but Chris is worse.
PayPal. If you don't know how, there's a link to a.
Chris Chan is basically the product of what if Shanny and Rev fused together and then fused with Von Helton. I mean, financial problems. With financial problems, Chris has so much in common with Shanny and Rev in regards to financial problems and how to deal with trolls and reacting to what when people talk about them. When people talk about them. Acting like a complete child. Especially with Rev's problems. I mean, we all know how Rev reacts to criticism. Like a fucking child. And there are other things I can compare is that Shanny and I mean, Chris, when his dad was still alive, there have been moments where whenever people re-upload videos that he's put out there, Chris would go and threaten to like call the police on trolls who mirrored old videos that he posted, the videos that of his decrepit house before it caught fire. Yes, Lynn, Chris did a tour of his house, which showed how bad it was, how decrepit and cluttered it was. And when people got a hold of those videos, he threw a temper tantrum, demanding everybody on the internet to take those videos down. He's even demanded websites to take articles of him down. Even threatening to call the police on said people. Hell, he even threatened to inform the president to intervene with his internet problems, with his internet life. You remember when Shanny threatened to try to like tweet at President Trump when she saw that there were videos made on her by the Geek Room? Remember that guy? Remember that, Lynn? Oh, wait, you weren't here when that happened. Well, Shanny tried tweeting at Donald Trump when the Geek Room and Irate Alex and other people made videos on her. She thought that if she contacted the president, that he would automatically have to snap an action to destroy their channels. Chris did the same thing too. With like, he threatened to send in police and detect. You know how Shanny and Rev have been threatening to call the police or try to call like FBI on the Geek Room, Dragnot, Irate Alex, and other channels that do videos on them? Chris did the same thing when people started mirroring videos of the house tour. Exactly, Lynn. Von Hell and Chris. I mean, I keep saying this a lot, but Chris Chan has more in common with Von Helton than in regards of his delusional fantasies about being a magical person and neglecting and ignoring responsibilities. I mean, you've seen Von's trailer, right, Lynn? You've seen how the property needs to be condemned. And you've seen how he treats his ailing mother, right? You see how Vaughn treats his ailing mother, who is basically not all there anymore. I mean, it's obvious that Vaughn's mother might have dementia because she is so freaking old. And that's what I've been saying, that Chris Chan is all these lolcows that we all cover combined. Like, you got the emotionally bitch fitting meltdowns, sending death threats. That's emo. Chris did that before, demanding people to give them money and e-begging, and also claiming to be some heavier than that, holier than thou divine entity, like Shanny and Rev when they pretend to be archangels. And the whole magic, sorcery, deity shit, that's Vaughn. And lying about people, trying to slander people, that's G-Man. So it's kind of like a shittier version of Voltron, if you think about it. Exactly. And I will do a video, I will do a stream covering Chris Chan's house tour before the fire. I mean, we all seen how Vaughn treats his kids. And you've seen, and I've seen, and you've heard me talk about Chris's problems. That's why Chris should never have kids, because he'll automatically ignore them. And I'll be talking about how Chris treats his pets, because he basically let a few cats that he's taken in die. Not to mention he's basically mentally abusive to his mother, kind of like how Vaughn is mentally abusive to his ailing elderly mother.
Video underneath this one. So please help us. Have a good day. Thank you.
Folks, we're not done here yet. I mean, I said I was going to do a quickie reading. I mean, I already did my quickie reading on Chris and money. But there is more. There is more you need to see, especially with people like Chris, because during the 2016 to 2017, Chris and Barb have been making endless videos begging for money. Kind of like how Shanny and Rev are doing streams begging for money right now. Chris did that almost 5 years ago. 5 years earlier, Chris has done the same thing 5 years earlier.
My name is Barbara Shannon. I presently am in need of financial help.
In case you're wondering why it's not, in case you're wondering why the video is not loud enough, it's Barb. It's Barb. She's the one being, she's basically old. She is old as hell. I mean, if you look at her, if you see this, if you see Barb right here, whenever Chris like holds the camera to her face, she looks like a deer in headlights. Yeah, what a loving son Chris is. I mean, exploiting your mother just for financial gains, yeah, you're really helping your mother out, right?
to get dental work done. That's expensive.
Exactly, Lynn.
I mean,
They are all the same. Every one of them are all the same in regards of how fiscally irresponsible, how they are, I guess you could say, how they are negative towards criticism, and how blinded from reality they are. I mean, I have seen a lot of streams where I look at these people, the people that the Geek Room, the Secular Opinion, Dragnot, Black Eye TV. I've seen these videos, and I always make the comparisons in my head because I know I would get shit from even mentioning Chris Chan from other people saying it's getting old. But if you look at it with a more open mind, you'll understand why I make the comparisons, right? Right, Lynn? You'll understand why I keep making those comparisons. Because Chris was the original Lulz cow. He was the original Lulz cow. You know what I mean? Exactly. Now you're getting to, now you see it. Now you're starting to see it, right? Now you're starting to see it, Lynn.
asking for donations.
You see how
Towards my
Chris always holds the camera to Barb, and she looks like she's in like some sort of like a prison cell being held hostage and shit. There's a similarities between this type of video and what the videos that Rev puts out, where Shanny is always coaching Rev behind the scenes whenever he makes a video. It's similar to that.
dental repairs. Any amount.
And that's not the video's fault. That's Barb, by the way. She's very, very quiet. Possibly because she is old, and possibly because Chris is too lazy to use editing software to make her voice sound louder than it should be.
Would be helpful.
If there's one thing that is a common trait in some of Chris Chan's videos, even some of his old videos back when he was still Christian Weston Chandler, before he decided to transition, there is like a humming sound in every video that Chris put out. Back when he was still living in his own, back when he was making videos in his own room with his toys and with his toys in the background. Back when Bob was still alive, there's always that humming noise.
The expense is large. Thank you for your consideration.
That was one of the many videos that you'll see when it comes to Shanny, Chris and Barb, where they make countless videos begging for money during this time period. And here is one of the other videos that you'll see. Okay, the emergency home. Let me take a look at this one article first before we proceed. Emergency home update is a video released on April 4th, 2017. Barbara Chandler makes her fourth on-camera appearance during the financial crisis. Following July 2016's donation further requested, please. This time, she claims that Rappahannock, a power company in Virginia, is ready to cut service for 14 Branchland Court. She and Chris attempted to guilt people into buying Chris's stamp collecting album for the absurd price of $1,000. Yes, Lynn. Chris has been selling items that don't even belong to him. Chris was selling Bob's stamp collection. Chris was selling Bob Chandler's stamp collection. He was even selling some of Bob Chandler's old records, as well as some of the items that his half brother had, including some old comic books and awards, honors awards. One week prior to this video, Chris had received $1,500 after selling the Sonic Totem, and within a week had burned through all of it with $750 worth of Skylander junk for his stamp raffle. $400 on a gold necklace for Barb, which she is wearing in this video while begging, and a few $100s for his credit card debt and food. The video follows a similar pattern to donation required, serious, please help, released less than a year before, in which Barb and Chris had begged to have money for her medication. At that time, Chris had wasted $250 on Transformer toys 2 weeks beforehand. Oh, hey, Rachel Dragonfly, how are things going? I'm just doing like a video. I just did like a live stream where I'm just doing a live stream where I read quickie articles on Chris Chan and how he handles money. And the reason why I'm doing this is because after seeing the stream where Shanny and Rev have been begging for money because of the quote unquote robberies, where they keep crying about how they don't have any more money for expenses. You know the whole shtick, which is utterly hilarious because we all know how Shanny and Rev are not that smart with trying to come up with a story that is okay, never mind. That is consistent with their personal life. Chris did the same thing 5 years earlier. And again, 4 years earlier. Furthermore, and of course, we all know that Shanny and Rev, much like Chris Chan, are frivolously irresponsible with money. I know. Anyway, furthermore, the Chandlers have a habit of being late on their power bill. Arthur Spatchcock found that in June of 2016, they were at risk of having their power shut off due to only paying minimums for months and allowing the bills to pile up. At that time, Chris was known to keep the PS4 in his workroom running 24/7, and it's evident he's learned nothing about conserving electricity since then. The next video after the emergency home update shows a large space heater and showcases various expensive electronics. This video has a nightmarish tone to it, Barb, sitting on her bed and staring off to the side, slowly speaks and appears to be extremely frail and feeble. In the next video, Barb still only ekes out a few syllables per breath, but not blinking is also associated with both Parkinson's and dementia, as well as staring and difficulty speaking. With Parkinson's, the person loses control over facial muscles, so they have a blank expression and difficulty trying to express emotions. Smiling appears forced and is of short duration. However, in the next video, shot during the same day, she is seen walking and is more cognizant, entering the room to inform Chris that they are out of cat food, and even whispering to him to use a new bank account to pay for it. This suggests her appearance in this video may have been affected to manipulate Chris and or his audience. So it's a 2-for-1 deal. So let's get this shit going.
Action.
My name is Barbara Chandler. We are in an emergency situation.
We are an emergency situation, individuals.
Rappahannock is getting ready to cut our service. That will stop us from doing anything. Cooking, whatever. Please, somebody, buy the Stamp album for $1,000.
Yeah, in case you're seeing this, Chris is basically either coaching his mom to say this shit or she's manipulating him into getting sympathy from the audience, because we all know damn well Chris's mom is not all there anymore. She is basically a shell of her former self. I mean, back then, the trolls would refer to Barb Chandler as Snorlax because she was morbidly obese at the time. Since then, she's lost a lot of weight after having a series of health complications. Aside from getting old,
$1,000 to help us with our emergency. Thank you.
and from what I might have heard, I don't know for sure if it's true or not. But there have been claims that Barb might have had a stroke before the whole financial crisis started to take its toll. So it's obvious that she's not all there because either because she had a stroke as a result, or she's faking it, which I highly doubt is possible because we all know goddamn well that Chris likes to exaggerate shit. So this will be the final video regarding the financial crisis. Actually, no, there will be. Oh wait, no, there's more videos in regards to this shit. I'm just going to be showing you the ones that I've pulled up from the quickie. Which, of course, shows Chris playing with the live game stream CLog 04142017 is the first Captain's Log video since July 2016's update. In keeping with his recent demeanor, Chris appears demented and tries to sound female. The video is very long and extremely tenuous, consisting mostly of Chris trying to talk up his merchandise while playing with expensive Transformer toys. Despite having appeared to be at death's door in the other video, uploaded on this day, Barb finds the energy to shamble into the frame and berate Chris about cat food, providing surcease of the seemingly eternity of looped PS4 music and Chris's gibbering. The video concludes with yet more incoherent Transformer via punctuated by an abstractly motivated attack on Trump and his daughter, followed by a reminder to watch Chris's thrilling reaction to SNL. Yes.
Good evening, this is Christine Chandler coming to you from home once again. But for the first time in a long time, this is Captain's Logs, Stardate 0414.
They've had a lot of emergencies. And of course, this is one of Chris's several attempts to try and by the way, this is like a Twitch. This was pulled from a Twitch stream that Chris did. By the way, Lynn, this is pulled from a Twitch stream that Chris did in like 2017. So yes, Chris does have like a grasp on other social media outlets aside from YouTube. One of his other outlets is Twitch, which he rarely posts streams on. Well, he does post some streams on his Twitch where he's reacting to cartoons, where he does like red versus blue reaction videos. Also berating the new My Little Pony Series 5. Yes. Chris is a diehard brony. And he still believes that friendship and magic is real in another dimension. I'm not joking. Chris actually believes that cartoons are real. Kind of like how Vaughn believes that his gods are real. And how he's like, kind of like how, and another reason why I've been comparing Vaughn to Chris Chan is because of the delusions that they have magic powers. Vaughn believes that his gods exist and that they are ordaining everything that's going on in the world right now. Chris, on the other hand, believes that cartoon characters are real in another reality, which coexists with our reality in what is known as C-197.
Good evening, this is Christine Chandler coming to you from home once again.
He was trying, at this point, Chris is trying to be like an e-girl at this time. I know. Exactly. But Chris, you see, Lynn, Chris has the mind of a child, a really small child. This is probably due to his autism, which his parents refused to have treated, because his parents, when Bob, his father, was still alive, they were far-right, staunch conservatives who were, I guess you could say, politically backward, and they didn't believe that autism was a thing. This was back when autism was still new, and there are other levels of autism. So his parents didn't buy into that whole medical treatment for autism crap, because they thought that they were going to have Chris committed to a mental hospital. They were afraid that Chris would be committed to a mental hospital because of his disability, because they thought that autism, high functioning autism, was akin to Down syndrome. Also, they were very old.
For the first time in a long time, this is Captain's Log, stardate 04142017.
After all these years of being on the internet, Chris still doesn't know how modern technology works. Hell, he doesn't even know how streaming works. And he's been around the internet for a long time. You would assume that he would pick up on a few things, but most of the times he's usually trying to stay away from the internet or playing with his toys as a way of comfort, hiding away into his fantasy worlds so that he wouldn't have to deal with personal responsibilities. Because mommy will take care of mommy will make everything go away. No, he doesn't. He's been taking like HR medication, like hormone reproductive HR hormone blockers without a prescription. He's been on medication prescribed by him by the courts by the court mandated therapy. Yes, Lynn. Chris has been seeking court mandated therapy like Shanny, but he doesn't attend the sessions because he doesn't really believe that therapy helps him, because he's too cheap. He doesn't want to waste his tugboat on getting treatment for his autism. Instead, he would rather spend all his money on buying video games and toys just so that he could live out his childhood. Also, his parents were extremely conservative. Right now, he's been abusing antidepressants and hormone blockers to further transition into a woman. He thinks he's attractive. But in actuality, he kind of does make himself look like an ugly woman. Even Shanny, back when Shanny was thinner, had put an effort in her appearance back before she got with Rev. Chris doesn't do that. Even when he tries to make himself look more like a woman, he fails at that miserably.
And I'm trying it in a different format, obviously. I got a microphone attached to my head.
He would get Medicaid if he's on social. That's the thing, Lynn. A lot of people have suggested that Chris should go on some sort of medical plan for him and his mother. Like I described in the articles, that a lot of people try to convince Chris into getting on some sort of medical plan for him and his mother. Chris has this habit of lashing out at people, going on angry rants via Twitter or any other social media platform that he's on. Whether if it's Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, he'll make a video ranting about how people aren't giving him what he wants. That's the thing with Chris, is that he doesn't want to listen to anyone. If only you knew, Lynn, this. Christian doesn't want to listen to anyone. but his imaginary friends. And that's sad if you're a grown man in a middle-aged autistic man transitioning into a woman, abusing hormone replacement drugs without proper treatment. You're going to have a bad time. And what's worse is that just when everybody, and just like Shanny, just when people try to give the best advice to Chris, he throws a bitch fit every time people suggest him to improve himself. I mean, we've seen videos where Shanny goes off on people who just try to help her and Rev. Chris does the same thing too. He hates criticism and refuses to take advice from anyone. Exactly. And look what happened right now.
But hopefully this time my voice will be louder than the music that I'm still forced to have to block out. I'll figure out something different for tomorrow's video where I commentate with live reactions to watching.
And this was in 2017. At the time, Twitch has been around for a long time. But Chris, the thing with Chris is that he doesn't keep up with the times. He doesn't know how modern technology works. And this was a live stream on Twitch also.
Trump episode Saturday Night Live. In the meantime, we'll start with some.
And you thought that Shanny and Rev's Twitch was bad? You probably should have taken a look at some of Chris Chan's Twitch streams when he still had it.
Plus,
mostly now, Chris Chan means of communication with the internet is through his Twitter page. And that's when he's not role-playing as his fictional characters, preaching out his predictions about this dimensional merge that he keeps spewing for the past 3 to 4 years. I might have to talk about the dimensional merge in a later video because there's a lot going on with that shit. And that's still going on to this day.
Was it news about something good? And yeah, just knocked over the gate behind me that was leaned against the wall.
I have said time and again that Chris could have just invested his money on a proper camera, maybe like a better laptop that runs on OBS, and a microphone with a stand that you can position on the table, along with a pop filter. But Chris wouldn't take that in. But Chris is too lazy to put in the effort of even trying to make a better live stream or even trying to edit the mistakes. I mean, Chris wouldn't even use the money that people give him on buying software for streaming. Instead, he only uses the money that people give him for toys and nothing else.
Anyway, so let's talk a little bit more about Sanju, the Autobot figure that you can win for a limited time.
By the way, Lynn, there's plenty of. Oh, you haven't seen the older stuff from Chris Chan. Back when his dad was still alive, his content, the videos that he posted were like the old-fashioned YouTube videos back in the day. Back when YouTube was still just making home videos and posting them on the internet. That was basically old YouTube. Before content became a thing.
And the stamp album is still available.
Also, there's a YouTube channel called Gino Samuel that has like a ongoing series covering all the events in Chris Chan's life. If you want to learn more about Chris Chan, I'd recommend you check out Gino Samuel. It's a Chris Chan Comprehensive History. There's a lot more to cover. Because, honestly, you have to see from the beginning to understand Chris Chan.
Last automatic win for, the figure and myself Skylander figure, myself Skylander card, and t-shirt. Look at the previous video, respectively, for that. Alright, so anyway, I'm talking about the additional features you get with this thing.
I'm gonna excuse myself for a bit.
The silver gun. Alright, so initially, you would get the silver guns, just I said the review video. Silver gun. Come on. Get in there. Get in there. Get in there. Soup. There you go. And the face of the Mark I version of Autobot Sanju, as I had designed back so many years ago during the days when Armada was on the air. And obviously this becomes his shield, because when he was an escort, his roof was the shield, but his roof isn't so long right now, so we have to make a lion out of it. And this is not a lion. I'm not a lion. Zoom! Boom, 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 boom. And of course, the pipes that go in robot mode, they're like this, but you gotta swap them around when you do it in vehicle mode. Otherwise, they drag them off the ground. Just the way they're curved. So anyway, me. Alright, so let's talk about the additional things that you get. First off, as I have shown in my latest picture on my Facebook post, this will be my face if I was an Autobot. Come in. Hope y'all can see that okay. There's 2 cameras on this thing, so I'm just going with whatever. But anyway, comic book canon. So you still have me as human, and then I transform into my Sanchu form, and then I tell Sanchu, hey, Autobot friend, let's combine forces. And he says, all right. So initially he'll open his neck hole and his head will go down. He's not a Titan Master in the books, all right? And this actually works for real on the actual figure. I'll show you. See, as with the arms being wide enough, he actually can sit.
Chris custom made that transformer. He kind of used Crayola model magic to build a Sonichu transformer.
Tucked like that.
Actually, and by when I said he made it, I mean he painted over an existing Transformer action figure that he purchased and then painted over it crudely using like acrylic paint, cheap acrylic craft paint, and Crayola model magic.
Why are you misbehaving on me now of all times? Come on. Come on, get in there.
Bay Shaman has done numerous videos on Chris Chan. And I have seen some of those videos.
Stay in here. Stay in here. You stay. You stay. It works most of the time.
I have what most people would say is a morbid curiosity. And you can see that there are a lot of frivolous items in the video, as well as the hoard in the back room right there. All the boxes and junk piled up like that. Chris used to film in his bedroom back when he was still Christian Weston Chandler. After his parents died, after his dad died, as well as the house fire, he kind of moved away from his old bedroom and is now using Bob's old room as like the primary area to film his videos.
Anyway, so aside from that clothes is on top, and so I climb up around him and I get ready to do a homing attack in my side shoe form, and then I become my Autobot face. And then,
by the way, this is Chris's self-insert original Transformer character.
with the neck hole being above his head, while his head is down near the chest and his body somewhere. My head is on top of his head. Ah.
Yes, he kind of painted over an existing Transformer toy crudely. If you've checked out some of the items that Chris tried to sell, such as like custom-made Funko Pops, which he kind of used from other toys, he's not really good at craftsmanship. Chris's craftsmanship skills are piss poor to abysmal. I mean, hell, some of my artwork that I usually post on Discord are masterpiece compared to Chris's artistic endeavors. I mean, hell, I put more time and effort in this Photoshop job that I made, this piece I made in Photoshop, than what Chris does. Even though I do it in the style of a speed art, it still takes time, and it still considers this time and effort in putting this together, where Chris is too lazy to even consider improving his artistic skills. Yes. Chris Chan is too lazy to even put an effort in improving his content.
Joke. But nothing sexual. Okay? Leave it at that. So, first time I'm attached to Sanju in this way, it's like a kind of a bit of a god master, because I am god of this dimension of Quickville, Virginia.
Yes, this is foreshadowing to the whole dimensional merge timeline. Because as we know now, Chris has a severe god complex, where she now believes that she's a goddess from an alternate dimension. Kind of like how Shanny and Rev claim to be archangels. Chris takes it further, claiming to be God or goddess of Quickville. Then again, Chris's speech patterns are piss poor at best. Most of the times he has a trouble pronouncing words, kind of like how Shanny likes to mispronounce words that end with G. You know, like how she always keeps saying, "You're Ron," or "You're lie in," rather than lying. She always like say Ron or Ron, Son. You know what I mean? Chris's illiteracy probably was due to his disability, his autism, but even that isn't an excuse to act like a child. I mean, I've seen people with with autism who are more coherent than Chris. Hell, there are people with autism who are functioning members of society. I blame Chris's issues on bad parenting.
Anyway, first is the rocket pack. As you've seen in various photos on Facebook, it looked like a bobsled. I like the better design this way. Okay? So this goes onto his back, into that slot right there. The middle piece goes there, and this part, goes into his butt. All right, and
Exactly, Lynn. Exactly. And it's because his parents didn't know how to raise a child with a disability. They spoiled him from when he was an infant to even until Bob Chandler's death. Bob Chandler was Chris's father. And Bob died of complications as a result of the horde that resulted in the 14 Branchland fire.
this pin, the spoiler here, goes on top there. And you got wings.
I'm just gonna skip over this shit. I'm just waiting for Barb to come in. Because it's just him playing with a toy.
Do was pay $2 shipping for free LGBTQ items, including this bracelet. All I have to do was pay $2 shipping. Got this bracelet. I also got this necklace. So, yeah, they're just little inexpensive things that all.
And also, in case you're wondering why Chris sounds so high pitched, he's trying to do this high pitched voice to make him sound more feminine because he thinks that all women have high pitched voices. Probably because he was watching like Sailor Moon, because he used to always watch Sailor Moon all the time and assume that all girls sound like that, which explains why he always dresses like a middle school girl. Chris's fashion sense isn't the best. It's poor and is basically generic at worst.
I did was pay shipping for. They were free. So, no allegations, no suspicions there. So I guess, yeah, look at me, but said, believe me, functioning cards. You believe
Again, this was on Twitch.
me? Well, let's see. How about 25 times 18 plus 15 times 15. And
I've said in previous streams that Chris has what is called dyscalculia, which is kind of like dyslexia, but for math. He doesn't understand how math works. He has what is mostly called dyscalculia, which is a learning disability where you can't learn, where you're unable to distinguish variables. It's kind of like dyslexia, but for math.
did the Wi-Fi go wonky on me? I have two Wi-Fi selections here, and this is. There's always proof to them how much all that was. There you go. We went.
And Chris, yeah, I mean, I keep saying this. Chris should have invested in OBS, maybe a desktop that runs on OBS, but a lot of people he could ask people to donate him like a desktop with a microphone and camera. He could ask people to donate him some shit, some streaming shit, like equipment for Twitch streams. But I think most of the trolls kind of learned their lesson. Don't give Chris money. He'll just waste it on toys. Unless he asks people to buy him stuff on the Amazon wish list, which trolls have numerous times have deleted and removed. They've kind of fucked with him. They still fuck with him to this day, even going as far as to buying into his dimensional merge bullshit. Hell, there was even one incident where one of the trolls, Prater, told him that he can kickstart the dimensional merge by tasing himself. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not.
And months ago, my mom had gold and Cleopatra necklace, but we had to sell it for money.
Well, the thing is, Chris has had a following since 2007 when he was featured on somethingawful.com. And of course, that garnered attention from people on 4chan of all places to start fucking with Chris, because back then he was just this socially awkward, mentally disabled man who likes to draw crudely, who likes to upload web comics of crudely drawn Sonic OCs before making the story about his personal struggles with chicken scratch comic pages. And he doesn't even know how to hold a pen right.
And thanks to this big sale I made, I was able.
So yes, Chris has been around the internet long before Shanny and Rev were even a thing. Hell, Chris has been around long before Brett Keane was even a thing. I have to say this, but Chris Chan has done it all. He was the original Brony. He was the original Let's Player. He was the original Sonic fan. He basically was the pioneer of like the Brony community. he was the pioneer for like the Sonic fandom, or how the Sonic fandom was back in the day. He was even one of the original Let's Players before Let's Playing became a thing. He was one of the original vloggers before it became a thing. He basically Chris was around pre-internet history, pre-YouTube history. Back when he would upload homemade videos on his in his bedroom with his PSI, which is like a camcorder that you hook up to a PS3.
I finally was able to replace that. And so I did. And she's a lot happier about it.
Oh, Chris is, oh yeah. That's the, and yeah, that did, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened, Lynn. When Chris was a kid, he won a Sonic contest where he received like $1,000 worth of toys from like a shopping spree at KB Toy Store, which started his fascination with certain fandoms such as Sonic the Hedgehog, Nintendo, and even later on, even later on, he started getting into Pokemon when it became popular. And he was a fan of the original My Little Pony series, before Series 4, before Friendship is Magic. He was into the old My Little Pony toys and Sailor Moon. Well, he got into Sailor Moon because because one of the early close friends he had back before he ruined it with crude Rule 34 drawings of him finger banging her. Back before he ruined the only friendship he had with a girl named Megan, she got him into Sailor Moon. And there are other fandoms that Chris was a part of before those fandoms became popularized on the internet. You could say that Chris was the original cosplayer because there was footage of him when he was younger where he would go to like Pokemon tournaments dressed up as Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. I could say he was the original cosplayer. One of the original cosplayers before it took off.
And believe it or not, the rest of it went towards a couple of big bills because I was on the notice from.
You see how distressed he sounds here when he talks about paying the bills?
To my credit accounts. And then I bought food. I bought lots of food.
You could see how his facial expression, you could see the facial expressions that Chris is in distress because, of course, he has to use the money that people give him for buying stuff, for paying the bills, when he wanted to use it for buying toys rather than pay the bills. You know,
I bought enough ingredients to make more fettuccine alfredo, and I'm going to make spaghetti and meatballs in the near future.
I would have loved to have seen him make cook. I would have loved to see him do streams where he is cooking for reals, because there was a video back when Chris was still being trolled by people pretending to be girls interested in him, where he would simulate himself making spaghetti by miming it, and then he shows a plate of processed spaghetti that he might have microwaved.
And try again at roast beef. All right, we had roast beef again.
I'm assuming that those meals that he's talking about are meal replacements for his mother.
And we did.
I would have loved to seen Chris do like cooking videos, but I'm pretty sure his cooking skills would be on par with Cobb's. You know what I mean? Or Kay's cooking. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris is even worse at cooking than Kay. Even worse than Shanny. I mean, I would imagine that Chris's cooking skills would be even on par with Shanny's.
Expensively from Food Lion. That's still, we had a lot, but still, and then more happened, yada yada, a whole bunch more. I don't know. It's all for me to look up on my statements that I'm not going to share. Because
I mean, he was in distress when he was talking about his financial problems. I mean, if only he learned about Cash App, he would have, like, I don't know. But then again, Cash App has, like, he would have, like, shielded out his Cash App if he knew what it was. If he knew how to shield out things, shield out, like, his other services, he would have. But Chris is not that smart. Chris is not that smart to even, or he doesn't have the drive to put in the effort to try and shield out his stuff.
Because that's private, personal information. Swarby, are you doing something over there messing with no. God dang it.
Inaudible.
What's electric shocks and whatever? The things I do for love. Over here. Alright, so stamp the automatic win for.
Yeah.
All that I mentioned earlier. It's just a few more. It's just only like a fraction of that. A small fraction. Sorbet. Stay with me so I know you're not messing with.
You thought that Vaughn is a terrible pet owner? Chris, I'd say he's on par with Shanny. Chris is caregiving skills for his pets is on par with I don't know, Shanny and Vaughn, because he kind of doesn't. He can't afford to pay for like food for his pets, let alone food for him and his mom.
Around. Yeah, you're Sorbet.
That's Sorbet, one of his cats.
He's a boy. Yeah, you're Sorbet.
And of course, even the cats don't want anything to do with Chris. I mean,
all right, now it's a cat video. Now this is officially a cat video because he's a boy.
you see how the cat is trying to get away from Chris, Lynn?
He's my little boy.
And you see how he speaks in a high-pitched voice? It's kind of irritating when he always tries to speak in a high-pitched voice. It's irritating. It kind of makes you feel cold. Sucks out all the warmth.
Wait. Love you. All right.
And there's his mom. I mean...
Anyway, what's it talking about?
Yeah, his
mom.
mom.
I sell that, and I still have a few pieces of science shoe artwork that I did back in 2014 that I tried to sell on eBay, didn't sell. I still have them. I'll put them back on there. $500 a piece. No negotiations.
No negotiations, guys.
Try to get more money in this house because I'm doing all I can around here. Financial messes and everything. God.
Yeah, I mean, people have been giving Chris money over the past few years. When after Bob died, people have been donating money to him. After the 14 branch line fire, the 14 branch line court fire, people have been donating money to the Chandler household, which of course Chris frivolously spent on toys and frivolous items, as I've described in the article.
Winnie, hello. We're live on the internet. What do you want? Hey, Mom, hello.
Hell of a way to talk to your mother.
We need a bag of cat food.
Dry cat food.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go out later and get some out of the little money we have left.
Use my
Yeah,
new account.
yes.
They've been making, yeah.
Dear, I'll come up and
And yeah, you can see that there's like a 5 o'clock shadow, even though Chris tries to like pretend that he's a woman. There's a reason why I don't take Chris's transgender. There's a reason why I don't address Chris by his preferred pronouns. I don't really buy into Chris's transgenderism, is because it's obvious that Chris is using this whole transgender thing as a ploy to pick up lesbians, because he's failed miserably at trying to attract a mate or get a girl. He's failed miserably to attract a companion. I mean, for God's sakes, Chris's methods of picking up women was loitering around college campuses, shopping malls, retail stores with an attraction sign advertising his sexual availability. Even when that fails, which of course catches the attention of security guards, resulting in a number of confrontations where he is thrown out, banned, and of course arrested. He's even went as far as to assaulting women by throwing items at them as a way to attract a partner. There was instances where he would use what is known as the red string of fate, where he ties like a love letter on a string and throws it towards women to like lure them like he's fishing. And then he's even gone as far as to like throw rocks at people with a love letter. Yeah. Never say no to Panda. I never say no to Panda.
get that later. Sorbet, what are you doing?
James, put that logo up there. I should put that logo next to me. Panda, made in Deutschland.
Come on, what are you doing? Get away from me. Okay, anything else?
Now, what are you doing?
Well, I'm doing the first official Captain Log video. I'm live streaming it.
On Twitch.
I'm live streaming it instead of pre-recording. So, yeah, we're live on the internet. Smile for the PlayStation 4 camera.
Oh my God. That is by far one of the most forced smiles I've ever seen from someone. I mean, for God's sakes. You basically, for God's sakes. I've seen a lot of crazy shit from Chris for like the past few years. I've learned about him, and oh my God, these streams where he's showcasing his mother every time she walks in on him doing live streams. He tries to like put the spotlight on her to like garner sympathy from his audience, her audience, whatever. I mean, like I said, I don't buy into Chris Chan's transgender BS because, again, it's obvious that he doesn't have gender dysphoria, even though he tried to like jumpstart the transition by taking hormone blockers that he illegally purchased off of eBay or Amazon. And one of Chris Chan's other methods of trying to jumpstart his transition into a woman was through surgical means. And by surgical means, I mean self-mutilation. I wish I was kidding. Chris Chan tried to even went as far as to self-mutilation to grow what he believed was a vagina. He slit his scrotum. He tried to like slit his scrotum because he thought that he was growing a vagina. I'm not joking. It gets worse. Guys, it gets really worse. Oh, it gets worse. So much worse.
And then remind them that we can use a lot more money in this house.
Like I said, Chris has attempted to self-medicate himself through self-mutilation in an attempt to further his transition into Christine Chandler. Like I said, he tried to like get a taint piercing on his scrotum. He refers to his bent duck as an ugly growth. You know how Rev always keeps addressing his tiny wee-wee as a baby carrot? That's because people keep calling it a baby carrot. Chris calls his tiny wee-wee a bent duck. The reason why he calls it bent duck was because it is believed that his wee-wee is bent, and he doesn't like calling it a dick. So he substitutes the I for you. He substitutes the I with a U and refers to it as a duck. Hence the term bent duck. Now he refers to it as an ugly growth because he doesn't like looking at his bent duck anymore. Do I need to time you out, Panda? I don't really know about the panda. But I feel like I need to time you out right now. Sorry about that, dude. I don't know about Panda, but all I know is that I don't trust him. Because a lot of these people are new to me. But this...
Okay.
I've been venting about that. Anyway, all right, well, I'll go out later and get some more dry cat food.
Yeah. Again, there have been times where even Chris would go as far as to like claiming that he was, before self-mutilating himself, Chris's methods of transitioning was through hypnosis. Listening to like binaural beats as a way to like further his transformation into a woman by listening to binaural beats, as he claims that it helps his breasts grow. That's basically estrogen, excess estrogen. And it's all obviously that he kind of has had, that's basically excess estrogen and his okay. Oh, damn it. Oh, damn it. I actually timed Panda out. God damn it, Yato. I gotta undo this shit. Ah, god damn it. God damn it, Yato, you let me on again. I'm sorry, Panda. I'm sorry for putting you in timeout. I hope this doesn't affect this relationship. I mean, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry I put you in timeout. I hope you forgive me. Once your 15 minutes are up, I hope you forgive me. But nonetheless, I will never say no to you in the next stream. The next time I go live, I will never say no to you. Just so you know why. I'm sorry. I like pandas. I think they're cute.
Alright, so that's all that. And this is Raw Stuff, live from Rutgers, Virginia. It's Friday evening. And I think I'm going to pretty much end this video right here, right now. But just one more thing before we go. One of my favorite, I made this up some time ago. Tell it yourself, free of charge. In Germany,
Someday.
the traffic and freeways over there are called the Autobahn. So, if they were back in there in the day, all about the Decepticons, the guy would go and say to Hitler, he'd say, Mein Führer, there is an Autobot on the Autobahn.
That's why you got to say things first before. That's why you got to say things ahead of time before I make my decisions, Yato. Again, Panda, I apologize for putting you on timeout. That was unintentional.
What do you think about that? Is okay?
Again, I still cannot get over. I still can't stand Chris's attempt at voices because it usually comes off as sounding like a mentally handicapped child trying to imitate cartoon characters.
As long as he's not a Decepticon. And then there's a Decepticon on the Autobahn. Mein Führer, there is a Decepticon on the Autobahn. Look him! Look him! Look him!
Damn it. Now you tell me, Yato. Now you tell me. Panda, I am sorry I put you on timeout. Please forgive me. I like pandas. I think they're cute. Especially the panda cubs are cute. Because they like to cuddle a lot. They are always clingy. And I'm talking about panda bears and not the panda raccoons. I mean, the panda bear cubs are so cute and cuddly. You just want to cuddle with them.
That's what he would have done. And guess what guess what we're doing nowadays with Mr. 4x5, number 45, in the office.
If it's any consolation, I promise you someday, in some way, I will offer Panda mod powers, mod control. Kind of like how I gave Jules mod powers.
Well, sir, there is there's an Autobot on our American Autobahn. What do you think about
exactly. Exactly, Lynn. I would never ever do anything evil to anyone. You're right. Thank you for acknowledging that my generosities, Lynn. I mean, I do my best to be civil. I treat all my viewers like family. I treat everyone the same. I'm not rude. I don't hide. Well, I don't. Yeah, no, that's not true, but I don't do what Shanny does and ban everyone on my streams. I don't shut off comments. I don't shut off the chats. I don't mass ban everyone. I welcome everyone to say their piece.
Well, that's all right, as long as he's not a Decepticon. I like the Autobots. I like Optimus Prime. I drove in a back truck, but oh, I'm just getting word. Now,
as of now, I've highlighted that.
There are Decepticons on our American Autobahns. Let's send out 59 nuclear weapons on them here in America. No casualties supplemented whatsoever. Yes, Daddy.
And there is that high-pitched voice.
I want you to destroy the naughty Decepticons.
I mean,
regardless of all the...
You can see the speech patterns and his delusional ramblings that he's not all there anymore.
Innocent civilians you have to hurt along the way. Damn Mert. And I gotta give a damn to Ivanka as well.
P-Mert is Trump spelt backwards. In case you're wondering why he keeps saying damn P-Mert. P-Mert is Trump spelled backwards. And this was after Trump was after the Trump inauguration, after Trump became president back in 2017, after the election. Yeah, 40 years ago. Of course, Chris Chan voted for Hillary Clinton during the 2016 presidential elections. His reasons for voting for Hillary was because she's a woman. And he believed that the country needed a woman's touch. Not knowing that Hillary Clinton has had a large number of skeletons in her closet. And Trump is not any better. I mean, he's even worse than Hillary. And of course, we had to suffer through 4 years of him. But he has spawned a cult following, a literal cult following dedicated to him, as you saw earlier this year with those riots in the Capitol. But Chris has this hatred for Trump, even going as far as to wishing death on, even going as far as to calling for the death of to calling for Trump's demise and assassination, making numerous videos saying "Eid P-Mert Eid," which spelled backward means "Die Trump Die." He's even in the dimensional merge, he said that Trump would not survive during the dimensional merge. No, I highly doubt it, but there was this stalker that Chris has had contact with named Jacob Sockness, who he is an extreme Trump supporter. He basically worships Trump like a god. His name is Jacob Sockness, and I'll be doing a video on him and his antics. He's basically the polar opposite of Chris Chan. Even though he's had this massive obsession with Chris, he still has this obsession with Chris to this day. Sockness, he's basically the invert. Chris follows far left-leaning views. Well, back before he started going into his old fictional realities, he had held on to far left-leaning views, while Jacob was far right. While Chris was a brony, Jacob was a furry. While Chris believed to being a benevolent entity that would bring about peace and prosperity through the universe, Jacob saw himself as a malevolent, monstrous evil that would bring about the end of days. So, exactly. And one of those rapists happened to be Sockness. And I wouldn't be surprised if most of the Trump supporters, I'm not going to be bashing furries, but the furry community has had a bad rep since, well, the whole issue with rainforest, because of the reputation that has resulted in their downfall, especially with people like Kara the Wolf and the Zoo Crew.
At one point, I liked her and her husband because they defended the LGBTQ, but now she goes say
Ivanka Trump, or no, not Ivanka Trump is Trump's Donnie's daughter. He's referring to Melania, who basically has the IQ of a blow-up doll.
Daddy, let's bomb the hell out of Syria. Boom. Yep, she ain't looking so hot now.
And also, there's been a lot of talk about how Trump's kids all look the same and all share the same brain.
And
kind of like hills have eyes.
Trump's still.
Chris was one to talk since back before he started retconning Sonichu. Chris's idealized society is almost akin to Trump's America. Back before Chris became LGBTQ, before retconning Sonichu, it was basically a totalitarian dictatorship. Quickville, back before Chris's transition, it was basically akin to Trump's America, a totalitarian dictatorship.
For America.
You're not one to talk, Chris, since you were basically, even though you claimed to be the mayor of Quickville back before you ascended to godhood, your society was almost similar to Trump's presidency for 4 fucking years. You basically were one and the same, except Trump had money because his family were grifters, because he comes from a whole long line of grifters. That's not my opinion. That's fact. From what that is from what, never mind. I don't like getting into politics that much, but all I know is that the Trumps were bad people. And that's final.
All right, anyway, that's my thoughts. Tune in tomorrow night where I watch the 2015 episode of Saturday Night.
Also, I loved Alec Baldwin's impression of Trump. Also, when Alec Baldwin did his impression of Trump during the Saturday Night Live skits, it pissed Trump off. Trump got pissed when Alec Baldwin made fun of him. It's almost similar to the whole Liquid Chris saga, which is why I kept calling Alec Baldwin Liquid Trump. That's why I kept calling him Liquid. That's why I kept referring to like Metal Gear Solid references, was because if history has taught me anything, is that there's always a solid and a liquid. A solid that is basically the actual person, and a liquid is the imitator or the person of the same name. Well, in Christory, there was a troll pretending to be Chris Chan that people have dubbed Liquid Chris, where he has made videos impersonating Chris. I mean, you're safe here, Lynn. You're safe here. This is... Feel free to say all about those idiots. I mean, I can't stand that family any longer. I mean, before Trump got into politics, he was a real shithead. But at least he had a catchphrase. At least he had a catchphrase. And at least people made fun of him. And he wasn't throwing a hissy fit over stupid shit, over trivial bullshit. It's the fact that when you're a president, you have to have a thicker skin. Trump didn't have that. He didn't care about what the Republicans wanted. He only cared about what he wanted. Kind of like how Chris did when, kind of like how Chris did with his quick bill.
Streaming through the internet, and y'all get live responses to that. Thank you. Good night.
All right. I mean, I might not be in the best shape myself, but I don't like to make mean-spirited jokes about Chris's weight or his obesity, but at least Chris is mobile, unlike Shanny. I mean, yes, he is I wouldn't consider Chris obese. I consider he's more out of shape. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not in the best shape either, but it's either here or there. It's the attitude. It's his attitude towards criticism that really, really irks me, because you gotta want it. You gotta want to change. And Chris doesn't want to change. Instead, he would rather retreat into his fantasy worlds which will give him what he wants and not the other way around. Same thing with Shanny. Yeah, I that's understandable. That's understandable, Lynn. I mean, I'm not going to judge you, Lynn. But when it comes to people like Shanny or Christian or Von Helton, Emo, Howling Wolf, and other lolcows, there is a theme, a common theme, and that is that they would rather act like children. They would rather spend their time lashing out at people, throwing temper tantrums, and demanding people to validate them. This constant need for validation is a common theme between these lolcows. For Shanny, her YouTube channel, her YouTube presence, as well as her constant rants on Twitter, she believes that her interactions with other people would give her the love and validation that she most desperately craves. That's the thing with these lolcats, is that they want people to notice them. And they don't want it, and they don't want to change, and they don't want to change. They don't like being told what to do. They don't like criticism, is what I'm saying. Amen, Yato God. Anyway, you can see why I've made a lot of comparisons between Shanny, Rev, G-Man, Vaughn, and other locales to Christian, is because every character trait that these other locales have, Chris has in spades. I hope, with that being said, that concludes our show. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please, for the love of God, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell notifications to get updates. If you want to support me, if you want to join my Discord, the link is in the description. If you want to email me, my email page is also in the description of this, as well as means of ways of supporting me. And with that being said, I'm Rickzilla, and I'll see you guys in the near future. So peace out, folks.